General Manager Ryan Poles, head coach Matt Eberflus, and team president Kevin Warren spoke with the media yesterday in a press conference. So let's talk about that and my biggest takeaways from that press conference. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, my NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, please do hit that big subscribe button down below, guys. I got you covered with the Bears like a blanket. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video, because I do so every single day. All right, so let's get into this. The press conference, the long-awaited press conference from Ryan Poles and head coach Matt Eberflus, and even team president Kevin Warren happened. And, they spoke for about, half an hour, maybe less than that. Took a bunch of questions, and I have some thoughts. But let's just start with this, all right? The takeaways that I'm about to give you, honestly, folks, they're not major takeaways. And that's mainly because this press conference was a lot of GM speak and coach speak and president speak. Let me give an example, all right? A reporter will ask a question, will say, hey, do you, prefer to draft a rookie center going into an important year, or would you prefer to have a veteran center, right, on your offensive line? And Matt Eberflus will just say, and he did say this, we're open to anything, all right? And then somebody will ask Ryan Poles, hey, Ryan, would you, want to draft a quarterback and still keep Justin, or would you want to move on from Justin and draft a quarterback if you do draft one? And Ryan Poles will say, we're open to anything. And so, that's really what this press conference was. Just a bunch of, comments of things really just going nowhere, right? We're open to anything. They don't mean much, right? It's very vague. It's just, a bunch of words repeated together and over again to make it sound like they really said something, but they really did. All right? So nothing concrete, nothing like that. And I'm not saying I'm surprised by it at all. This is usually what happens, right, with these team presidents and, with the GM and the coach. I would love to have some transparency, but they just talk like that, especially Matt Eberflus. And so that's what a lot of this was about. Ryan Poles saying, hey, I'm open to this. Matt Eberflus saying, I'm open to that. So, when we're talking about the Justin Fields conversation, did I feel like coming out of this press conference, the Bears were sticking with Justin Fields or moving on to draft a quarterback, maybe a Caleb Williams? There were times of the press conference I felt like that, and then there was times that I didn't. So literally, it was going back and forth because they really didn't give us anything. Honestly, folks, they really didn't give us anything in this press conference. And so it's really hard to have any major takeaways. But the one takeaway I will give you, the one takeaway that I feel like, hey, I think I have a pretty good grasp of this, is that they don't want to do a tear-down rebuild of any sort. All right? What I mean by that is, the reason for keeping Matt Eberflus on board and for not going with the new coach, new staff, and everything is because they want to continue to make progress. Basically, you went from a 3-win team to a 7-win team. And now if you, do a little rebuild and take a step back, they don't want to do that. They want to be a 10-win team next year. And that's important because, that plays a part in the quarterback decision. I'm not saying that means that they're ruling out Caleb Williams or drafting a quarterback at 1 because, hey, what if that quarterback at 1 is good enough for this team to still win 10 games and go to the playoffs a la CJ Stroud and the Texans? So that's still on the board, but what I'm telling you is the moves that they will make this offseason and going into next season is in the realm of them trying to compete for the division and trying to become a contender. It is not going to be to build for the future and stack up assets to just stack them up for the future. No, they're trying to build on this thing. And that is, to me, the main reason Matt Eberflus was brought back. I don't agree with it, but that was the main reason he brought back. And to that point, Ryan Poles, he is now married to Matt Eberflus. Not literally, obviously, but he is married to him because he had a chance to move on from Flus. He had a chance, but he chose to stick with Flus. So the Flus is not loose. He is staying where he is. And Ryan Poles will get the direct consequence of Matt Eberflus if Matt Eberflus does not succeed and let's say he's fired next year. So I'm just saying, Ryan Poles has now married himself to Eberflus, and Eberflus's results will have a direct impact on Ryan Poles. I hope he knows that. All right, so that's the other thing. And then as far as Luke Getsy getting fired, apparently that was Matt Eberflus's call. And look, they talked a lot about continuity. It was really funny to me, more ironic really, because you talked about continuity, but you fired the entire offensive coaching staff. So not really continuing with the same staff. Again, I would have fired Luke Getsy too, but I'm just saying, it's funny. They say continuity. So as they spoke about offensive coordinators and how their phones are blowing up. And again, I don't believe any of this stuff right now, folks. I'm being very skeptical. I'm very honest with you guys. But they said it's a very coveted position. I just don't see how. Look, you're basically bringing in a guy who's tied to Matt Eberflus. And if Flus gets fired next year, this guy's job, the new OC's job, will be gone. And by the way, they're forcing this OC to keep some of the current coaches even, right? The offensive line coach, the tight ends coach. Like, some of these coaches are staying. Not all the entire offensive staff got fired. It's a weird situation, man. It's a weird situation. But that's what they said is happening. So, you know, it is what it is. A couple other takeaways. Jalen Johnson apparently is not going anywhere. They're going to negotiate with him. That I do believe on that. I think Jalen Johnson will stay and they will get an extension done with him. Ryan Poles said he's open again to trading the number 1 overall pick, but he said he's open to anything. So that was the whole theme of this press conference. And, you know, I really, again, I'd love to tell you guys, hey, based off this press conference, I can definitively tell you that they're moving on from Justin or that they're, you know, keeping Justin. But I really couldn't get much out of this press conference. I'm going to, you know, start to read the tea leaves here and start to, you know, kind of understand the direction based off the moves. But I really do think it's completely up in the air. Honestly, I don't think a decision has been made really on what they're going to do, whether they're going to stick with Justin or whether they're going to draft a quarterback with that number 1 overall pick. But yeah, man, main takeaway I'll tell you is they're not looking for any sort of a rebuild. Full force in the next year, trying to win the division, trying to be a 9-10 win team and progress off that. And that's why they brought back the Flus. So let me know what you guys think. Biggest takeaways for you guys from the press conference. Leave a comment down below.